Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
A lot of historical nonsense has been written about the friendship between Wyatt Earp and Dr. John H. Holliday. Doc has been called everything from a horse thief to a bloody-minded killer. Many people criticized Wyatt Earp for associating with Doc Holliday, but none of them knew how this friendship began.
Doc Holliday runs a big money card game. He's got a sign that says for fighters to keep out. So don't come crying to me. If you got a beef, take it up with Doc Holliday. Well, then don't go making remarks about Doc. You ain't been in good humor lately. Good heavens, not Wyatt Earp. Put her there.
Howdy, Mr. Shancy.
I ain't seen you since the 4th of July, '68 in old Cheyenne.
Come on, but you didn't see me. You were too busy looking at Mike Donovan's fists.
I can still feel them.
Well, he was a little too young for you and too fast, but you put up a mighty good fight. Oh, sir, there never came any braver in the fight ring than old John Shancy.
Well, thanks, Wyatt. Have a drink?
No.
Say, you didn't look me up after all these years just to spread molasses. You want something.
You know, you're right. Yeah, I'm looking for a Dave Rudabaugh or any of his crowd. They've been robbing Santa Fe payrolls. Well, Pat Masterson took a posse down into Texas after him, but I got word that some of Rudabaugh's men visit your camp occasionally.
Well, none that I know of for certain, Wyatt.
Oh. I heard you mention a Doc Holliday to that cattleman. By any chance you mean Dr. John H. Holliday from Valdosta, Georgia?
Let's do ourselves a favor, Wyatt. Leave Doc out of this.
The Santa Fe detectives told me that Doc Holliday had a little row with one of Rudabaugh's boys in Dallas.
Well, Doc has rows with lots of people. That don't mean he talked to you.
Any harm in asking him?
He ain't been feeling well. His touch is a rattler with a sore fang. I'll tell you what. Now, my barkeep over in the tavern knows one of the men you're after, Mike Rourke.
Thanks.
Mike is a chief gun for Rudabaugh. Now, why don't you pretend to the barkeep that you want to send Mike a friendly tip? Anything to start him talking, understand?
What's your barkeep's name?
Tim Riley.
Tim Riley. Well, I'll tell him that my name is Seamus McEarp.
Will I be after seeing you, Seamus?
That you will.
There's a lawman in camp. He's heading this way.
He wouldn't be after you now, would he, Grimes?
He better not be. I need that shotgun, Riley.
All right, take it.
Medicine, Riley. Medicine.
Oh, sure. Sure, Doc.
Howdy. You Mr. Tim Riley?
I am.
Wonder if you could get a message to Mike for me.
Mike who?
Mike Rourke. He's a friend of mine. He did
Up with him. Quick. Turn around. Get his eyes, Riley. You're no friend of Mike's. You want time to pray, you want it quick.
Hey, Skunky.
What?
You're Skunky Grimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You owe me $50.
Oh, that's right, Doc. You lost so much weight I didn't...
Hey, you! Hit the floor! About 50.
Your gun, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, I should be thanking you, Dr. Holliday. You pulled me out of a kind of tight spot.
You can't be a former patient of mine.
No, sir.
I thought not. My patients hate me.
There's your guns, mister. And I'd like to have my shotgun back. I'm sorry, Marshal, but I had to go along with Skunky's play.
I understand. Here, you keep this for me. Throw some water on him and patch him up.
I will.
You mind telling me why you slid me your gun?
It would disillusion you, sir.
I'd still like to hear it.
Very well. Grimes owed me money. If he had shot you, he'd have gone on the run. As it turned out, in this best of all possible worlds, I got my money back. I didn't have to kill Grimes. Now, if you'll excuse me, sir.
Would you tolerate one more question, Doctor?
One more.
Can you tell me where I can find Mike Rourke?
I could, but I won't.
All right, sir.
Hold on. What's your name?
Wyatt Earp.
And all the time I thought it was a fluke shot you threw at Skunky. Handsome, fast with a gun, and in the best of health. Get out of my sight, sir.
Well, if Doc won't talk about Rourke, that's it. Well, didn't he do enough for you? I never heard of Doc Holliday going out of his way to help a living soul.
Well, maybe you don't know him.
Know him as well as anyone does. He's an ill-tempered, selfish fella. Got a tongue rough as a number 5 file.
Is he sick?
Consumption.
That explains a lot. But it doesn't explain why.
Uh-oh. Curse of the Irish. Miss Kate. Plague on her.
Who's she?
Mrs. Holliday. Doc Holliday's wife. I gotta make myself scarce.
Chancy! No, you don't! Stop right where you are. Is Dr. Holliday here?
Yes.
Well, thanks for not lying to me. What was the idea of sending back all my letters stamped address unknown?
Doc told me to.
All right. I need accommodations for myself, my coachman, and my maid. How about it?
Now, look, Mrs. Holliday. You and Doc been fighting. Now, don't get me mixed in any family quarrels.
That fight's all over with. All right, where do I stay?
Well, I'll have to ask Doc first.
You big coward. Are you afraid of my husband?
No, ma'am.
Maybe you're not. Where'd you find him?
He's Wyatt Earp, Marshal of Dodge City.
Oh. How do you and the doctor get along?
Pretty well.
That's a break. You're not afraid to deliver a message to him?
No, ma'am.
Just tell him I'm in town with $30,000. Will you do that? And tell him he'd better act friendly toward me. You better mention the name Mike Rourke. That's a cinch to interest His Highness. Chauncey, why don't you get some manners?
All right. Drive on to the tavern. I got a matter to discuss with you.
Don't you let him scare you about the doctor. You promised to deliver that message.
It'll be delivered, ma'am.
Good. Drive on, James.
Yes, ma'am.
That woman's a hellion.
Yeah, she looks like she's a good match for the doctor. Well, I can't let tender passion interfere with official business. You really afraid of her?
That's like asking me if I'm scared of the White Witch of Kilkenny.
Full speeds. P4. 9 speeds. P9. It's a black knife. East the house. Pay the east. 3 a diamond, pay the 3. You're on the wrong side of the table, aren't you?
I got a message from Mrs. Holliday.
She in town? Hank, you take over. Back room.
Your wife said to mention Mike Rourke. She seemed to have some information about Rourke. I'm going to give you fair notice, Doctor. If you still refuse to talk, I'm going to try and get the information out of Mrs. Holliday.
You have a one-track mind.
Well, that's my job, Doctor.
I was talking to Bill Tilghman about you a couple of months ago. He called you Deacon Earp.
Well, they elected me deacon of the church to keep order.
The law seems to be your religion.
So?
What a man believes is no business of mine. Bill Tilghman says you're an honest man. That's good enough for me, or I wouldn't even bother with you. You want Rourke, so do I. And I got first claim.
Why do you want him, Doctor?
I'm not in the witness chair. All I ask is first crack at Rourke.
You want to kill him?
Perhaps, if that's necessary.
Well, why don't you just shoot him up a little bit? That would leave me a prisoner to question.
Can't promise that. But regarding Mrs. Holliday, you can ask her anything you want. Anything. I'm just not in the mood for domestic things. You'll excuse me, sir.
Yes?
The door.
Yes.
Oh, Marshal Earp, come in. Clear out now, both of you. Did you see Dr. Holliday?
Yes, sir.
How is he? Pale? Coughing all the time?
He's not too well, ma'am.
What size glass is he using for his whiskey?
A water glass.
I thought so. Fine life for a man in his condition. Smoky saloons, whiskey, day and night. Did you give him my message?
Yes, he said he didn't want to be bothered with domestic things. Well, I'm sorry, ma'am, but that's what he said.
I'm used to that. Didn't the mention of Rourke have any effect?
Yes, ma'am, I think they have a quarrel.
Oh. And that means he expects Rourke to come into camp. Another gunfight.
I reckon so, ma'am.
Did he tell you why?
No, ma'am.
Will you charge me to arrest Dr. Holliday?
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't do that, ma'am.
Why not?
Because he could sue both of us for false arrest, and you'd be liable to perjury. See, the doctor hasn't robbed any stages or trains, ma'am.
But it'll save his life.
How?
I want the doctor to quit all this. Go to Colorado, take the cure.
Oh, I see.
The doctor can't last at this rate. Rourke never rides alone. It'll be a gunfight with Dr. Holliday against maybe 10 men.
Probably.
And you won't do anything.
Well, there's nothing to do, Mrs. Holliday. You see, I came here to arrest Rourke for robbing Santa Fe trains. Now, the only way to head off a fight between Rourke and your husband is, well, for me to get to Rourke first.
But if you don't, will you help the doctor in his fight?
Well, I can't even do that, ma'am. You see, I want to arrest Rourke. Dr. Holliday wants to kill him.
You men! Fighting, killing, letting us worry about you, and then sticking together against us.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but...
No, you're not sorry, but you will be. And so will the great Dr. John H. Holliday. Get out! Get out!
Yes, yes.
And I don't see why you blame me, Doc. You didn't give me no direct order to keep Mrs. Holliday out of camp.
It's not what I'm sore about.
And what is it, then?
You seeked Wyatt Earp onto me.
I did not. I told him flat not to bother you. I even told him not to take your wife's message.
All right, Jack. All right, it's my own cussedness. Earp is a good man, and I hate good men.
Oh, now, Doc.
Earp has a mission. He's risking his life for $250 a month. He wants Mike Rock. He may try to interfere when I settle a trivial and human row with Mike. Good men always arouse the worst in me. It's not that I envy him. Earp just doesn't have any logic. And I have great respect for logic.
Well, sure, Doc. You got a college degree.
Yes. Doctor of Dental Science from Johns Hopkins. How very logical. Fixing teeth for people who deserve to live on mush. No, Jack. That's almost as stupid as being Wyatt Earp and chasing a train robber. I ask you, what is the Santa Fe Railroad? Why shouldn't it be robbed like the rest of us?
Well, now, you got me there, Doc.
And another point.
Dr. John, it's Miss Kate.
What's that?
Miss Kate, she's sick. Awful sick. She's got the misery.
Oh, shut up, Jim, shut up.
But Dr. John...
All right. Sounds like appendicitis. I'll come.
Bless you, Dr. John.
Send up a quart of whiskey to Mrs. Holliday's room. She's had these attacks before. I may have to operate.
Peggy, stop fidgeting. Stop. Now, just one look at your face and he'll know I'm not sick.
All right, Miss.
And I don't want you to try to argue me out of it. Now, has James got the coach ready at the back door?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you know what you're going to do. You're going to help James and me tie up the doctor. Then you...
Shh! He's coming.
Have you been eating grapes, my dear?
No, John, no. It's just indigestion. James and Peggy were scared, so I...
Now, Katie, please. You might have a burst appendix.
No, John, please. Shh. Oh. James, Peggy, quick. Help me tie him up. Hurry.
Hey, Mr. Shensi.
Not now. A desperate case. Mrs. Holliday, bad sick.
What do you mean she's sick? I just saw her 10 minutes ago. She was fine.
Sudden attack. The doc's up there now.
Where's her carriage and horses?
Out and back by the stable. Where would they be? Look, the doc's in a hurry for this. He can't operate without it.
Be careful of him. I'll open the carriage door.
I'm sorry, Miss Kate.
You, stand back. Keep out of our way.
No.
Where's my gun?
Mercy's sake, you can't shoot a marshal.
Put him down.
Yes, sir.
I'll never forgive you for this.
Assault and abduction. Now, you let me take care of Dr. Holliday. You take Mrs. Holliday inside.
Come on, Miss
You
Kate.
haven't seen the end of me, Wyatt Earp. I'll get my husband out of here if it's the last thing I do. Marshal.
I don't like it. We haven't heard from Grimes.
What are you so leery of, Mike? Grimes may not be here.
Well, I'm the one Doc Holliday's sore at.
5 against 1? Doc ain't that crazy.
Doc may not even be there. Somebody give Mike a handful of sand for his crawl.
Well, now, ain't you funny? Well, if I do run into the Doc, let's see how brave the rest of you are.
Now, I hope you're not going to hold a grudge against Mrs. Holliday. She thought she was doing what was best for you.
I knew you'd say that.
Why?
You're always trying to do what's best for everybody. Mrs. Holliday wants to shut me up in a hospital. No drinking, no gambling, no women in the way.
You'd get well, wouldn't you?
No, it'd kill me in a month. By doing what's worse for myself, I've stayed alive. Hey, Jack, where's that medicine?
Coming, Doctor. I hope you give the marshal credit for saving you.
I'll never praise anybody for illogical behavior.
Well, what's so illogical about stopping your wife from carting you off bound hand and foot?
I have first claim on Mike Rock. And with me out of the way, the marshal would have no problem. I hope you'll act toward me after this with the worst possible motive, sir.
Well, if I did that, Dr. Holliday, then you'd always understand me.
He gets the point. You got a wonderful talent, Wyatt. You'd make a wonderful, great train robber.
Saints forbid.
He'd be the scourge of the Santa Fe.
You see, the doc doesn't take his own advice. Well, there are no posters on him for high crimes and misdemeanors.
I haven't been identified. That's the reason. Excuse me, gentlemen.
Now, Doctor, you can't go against that many.
Hold it, Mike.
Get out of our way, Doc.
You try it, Mike. Climb down. Fast. Get over here. Move. Sit down. You want him alive?
Yes, I do.
Well, then you and Jack hold on to Rock. My business will only take a moment.
Now, wait a minute, Doc. That talk I made about you, it was nothing but a joke.
Hold on or I'll...
I tell you, it was only a joke.
Shut up. This sidewinder told it all over Texas that he came to me for an extraction, and that I pulled the wrong tooth. Open your mouth. By rights, I ought to take out all your upper teeth. Instead, I'll just take 2 on the left to make sure. Ow! 1. Number 2 coming up. There now. You better pass it all around that I got the right tooth, Mike, or I'll yank every one of them and shoot you to boot. Take them away.
You 2 men, throw down your guns. Now climb off your horses and patch up those 2. You give Mike some laudanum.
We slaughtered them on Rock?
That's right. Go get it.
Very well, Deacon. I hope the whole Rudabaugh crowd jumps you on the way to Dodge City. You'll need more than laudanum.
John! John! Are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right. I have to go and get some laudanum. The marshal's orders.
What was all this about?
Professional pride, ma'am. Mr. Rourke here insulted Dr. Holliday.
And for that you let him wound 2 men and torture this one?
Well, those 2 fellas drew on the doc first. He got just about what he deserved.
That's right, Mrs. Holliday.
My husband shouldn't be allowed to take such risks. I'm going to Dodge City, and when I get there, I'm going to file a complaint against you with the town council.
Yes, sir. Well, you won't be the first one.
No, don't you have nothing to do with him in Dodge, Wyatt.
Well, I suspect I'll be seeing a lot of Dr. Holliday.
Mother in heaven, why?
I think we'll be friends.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. and none can deny it. The legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail. Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.